Hi Beulah family, my name's Haley and I want to welcome you here with us. I'm sitting here with Parry, and today we're going to be talking about what does it look like to listen and to want to listen well. So Parry, can you introduce yourself a little bit for us?
Yes, my name is Parry Stelter and I'm originally from Alexander First Nation, which is part of Treaty 6 territory, and I'm from what they call the 60 scoop generation, and my uncles and aunts and parents were from the residential school era, and I grew up in a Christian home and didn't meet my family until later on in life, and there's a whole story behind all of that.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing?
I actually grew up in Beulah Alliance Church when they were on 127th Street for my elementary years. There was nothing really unhappy about growing up with the Stelters. It's just that as I was sort of in this rebellious stage in my teenage years, and so I became an alcoholic binge drinker at a young age and dropped out of high school about 2 or 3 times. And it was around that time that I found out I had family out in Alexander First Nation, and so I moved out. I ended up living with about 3 or 4 different relatives within the span of 2 years, and then settled in at one of my auntie's place in Enoch, Cree Nation. I had been to alcohol treatment program at that time, and I was saying, what am I going to do with my life? I've dropped out of high school, and so I decided at that time to go back to school as an adult. I was able to go back to school and be around my people because they too were trying to do something with their life, with their education, and so meeting even more people through being part of this Yellowhead Tribal College that I attended for a few years before I ended up eventually going back to Edmonton to college and university.
Right. And you had said that you got to connect with your family at Alexander. What was that like, reconnecting those relationships?
It was a cultural shock because although Alexander is only 45 minutes from Edmonton, it's a world apart in difference, and there were some of the more comical things where they would tease me about certain things, like I'd be peeling some potatoes or doing something and they go, oh, look at Parry, what did a white man teach him? And you know, but at the same time there was just you know, most of the people that I met believed in their traditional belief system, traditional culture. My biological brother said something about me which was quite profound, because he goes, oh no, Parry's not into traditional stuff. With Parry it's Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And so even in my rebellious stage of distancing myself from the family that loved me, not going to church anymore, somehow that foundation of what I grew up believing in was shining through in some form, even in that stage I was in. So later on I learned that there are things that you can combine and incorporate as a Indigenous person and as a Christian, but that has taken me a lifetime journey of discovering and finding out and figuring out and using discernment on and listening to other people that have gone down that road as well. So yeah, and you were saying that you wanted this church and many churches to be a people that really learn to listen and to be listeners. And when I think about that myself, I think about if somebody is telling some of the actual events that have taken place within the history of Canada, that instead of just shutting down because they're feeling guilty or shutting down that conversation in their mind because they're trying to suppress the truth, just being willing to just simply listen. As I was speaking at one church one time, a fellow said, okay, when are we going to stop talking about the past and just move forward? The problem is that a lot of people just have never heard the true history of what has happened over the last 500 years. And so that's why to be a people that listens even when it's uncomfortable and makes you want to, let's say, symbolically walk out of the room because it's uncomfortable, but just to stay in it, be patient, and just allow yourself to go through the process even when it is uncomfortable, and even when it feels like it even hurts.
Mm-hmm.